what I wanted to do today is give you guys a brief overview and my thoughts on Dave Ramsey's budgeting software. It's an online budgeting software called EveryDollar. If you're coming from using an Excel spreadsheet or working with paper or even using some other software, it may be worth your while to take a look at the EveryDollar system. EveryDollar is free, but there is also a paid version which gives you a little more option. You connect your bank account to your budget. You can also keep a bank account and credit cards in one place, and you also get the actual support. But I've been using it for almost a year, and I only use the free version, and it works perfectly fine. Start our first budget, and the great thing about the system, the software, it kind of auto-populates some of the general categories. You're able to manipulate and change those categories as you go. Just type in your paycheck. So I'll put my paycheck here. Let's just say, and you can label it whatever you want to label it. If you need to delete it, you can delete a category. If you need to add additional category, you can add additional category. So what I'll do is say I plan to make $3,000 this month, and let's just say my wife is planning on making $3,000 this month. So now it tells us we have $6,000 left to budget. And the key with the Dave Ramsey plan is you want to have a zero-based budget, which means every dollar is accounted for. Every dollar has a place to go at the beginning of the month. So there's no surprises. You know exactly how much you're going to get paid, and you know exactly what is coming out your check. So now we can go in, and if you're following Dave Ramsey's baby steps, the 7 baby steps, they are actually listed here. So you'll get an opportunity to continue on with the baby steps. So we can start filling in the budget. We can label that church, and we plan to give $650 to the church. And as you can see, once we add the planned amount that we plan on spending, it decreases the left amount to budget. So there's no guesswork into how much is left and how much is left to budget once you add a category. We're trying to build our emergency fund. So if you're just starting with the Dave Ramsey plan, you know he emphasizes that you want to have at least $1,000 emergency fund. So what we can do, if we click on the emergency fund, let's say our savings goal is $1,000. I'm sorry, our starting balance is $1,000, and our saving goal was $1,000. We're just doing the bare minimum emergency fund that Dave Ramsey recommends. So we've already got our emergency fund already met. So we met that $1,000 goal, and if we go back to our baby steps, we'll actually see that it says, hey, you've already met your baby step number 1 goal, which is to save your first $1,000. But we'll continue filling out our budget. We want to do $1,500 for mortgage. Let's say we got an HOA of $80. Our water bill is around $60. Natural gas is around $40. And see how easy it is for me to fill this out? I'm just clicking on the category, it highlights it, and electricity is $100. If we have any car replacement, whether that be an oil change or just some car repair, we can budget that in. Or if there's additional item we want to add there, we can add it by clicking on that, and it allows us to add another category to the transportation section. Now we can also, if we don't want to use that particular category, we can delete, and it's going to ask you, do you want to delete? You can delete, click yes. You go here, let's say we want to rename this, we don't like it labeled as car replacement. Let's just say we want to name that car repair. We just click on it, and then now we can rename it car repair. And let's say we want to get some new brakes this month. So we're going to say we're going to spend $200 on brakes. So I've gone ahead and filled out some categories, and this is just an example of what a typical budget will look like with the EveryDollar system. And as you can see, as we've added planned amount to each particular category, it's decreased the amount of money we have left to budget. And it shows us over here, it breaks down in percentages how much of our percentage of our income are we're allotting towards giving, how much we're allotted towards saving, how much we're allotted towards housing, so on and so forth. It'll show you how much you spent. You can click on each particular category and it'll break down how much you've spent or allotted for that particular category. You can also dig a little deeper and click on a particular category if you go on spent, and it'll tell you how much you spent. Of course, we haven't spent anything yet. So as you can see, based on our income, we have $1,390 left to actual budget. And with this particular example, this is great because this allows us we've taken care of all our monthly expenses, and we have $1,000, over $1,000 left to play with. So what we're going to do, of course, if you're following Dave Ramsey plan, you're going to put that all on your debt. So we can add a debt category here we can go in and set that up. We can say minimum amount we usually pay is $200. And let's say we have a student loan debt of $30,000. We have that set up over here, and we can label that student loan or whatever you want to label that. It could be a car loan, it could be some other loan, but we're going to say it's a student loan. And now as you go through the month, you pay particular things. All you would do, let's say we're going to pay our mortgage. Once we get ready to pay our mortgage, we just click on mortgage, and then we can add transaction. And our mortgage was $1,500. You can put the check number, or if you're paying online, you can put the confirmation number. And if you can actually split it, if you want to add a split here, if you want to split it between two categories, you can also do that, but I don't normally do that. If it's mortgage, it's set up for mortgage. If you click this little arrow here, it'll show you how much you spent as well as how much remaining. So of course we have a remaining of $650. So all we have to do now, if we want to pay that, we just click on church. Right in the section here, click on add transaction. We'll say it's $650. We can set the date that we paid it, whether it was today or if it's a later date and or earlier date in the month. We just click on that. It was for the church. You can name the church. There's additional information you want to put here. You can put it down there. Add. Boom. So now it's added. There's also another way to do it as well, is if you have your transactions here, you can just add new transaction. We'll just say we paid $60, and that was paid at water company, and that was for, we can click on what was that for. That was actually for our water, so we know it was $60. Click on that, scroll down here at the bottom, choose water. As you can see, the $60 has been added to our spend account, and we can see that remaining we have $0. Or if you want to do it, if you don't, at the time you don't exactly know where it's going to go, you can go, let's see, we spent $40 and that was on propane. We're not sure where it goes. We're just going to add it, and we see it was added here. And once we figure out exactly where it goes, we can drag in and drop it to the section where we want it to go. Propane, boom, $40. Congratulations. We've tracked all our transactions. So if you want to list your transactions here and then drag and drop, or if you want to go through each one transaction and allot it a particular category, you can do that as well. If you need to delete any one of them, once you have a list, you can delete, or you can just add it as you go. What I typically do, I add it as I go. Now, as you can see, for the sake of example, I had budgeted $150 for life insurance, and for whatever reason, for the sake of example, it was actually spent $200, because if we click on that, it shows that we spent $200 instead of $150, so it shows up as a negative. And if we look at the transaction, it'll show us once again that we spent $200. So that means we only have 1,000. Let's go back to our remaining. We only have $1,340 to put on our debt. We go back to our baby steps, and we look at our baby steps. It shows that we paid $1,340 towards our total debt of $30,000. And we just continue on with our getting out of debt. And what's also cool is when we get ready to make our budget for next month, it's very simple. All we have to do now is just go to click on the arrow there where it says June, go to July, and it auto populates. We'll start planning your July budget, and it'll auto populate those categories that we have listed. What are my final thoughts on the EveryDollar software? Been using it for about a year. It's very simple, but it gets the job done. It's definitely something I would suggest those who are looking for budgeting software look into. It's easy to use. It's easy to learn. It's not a huge learning curve. I like the fact that you don't get a lot of advertisements that you would get with other programs or credit card offers. It's very clean and very simple. Some things I would like to see improve would be the ability to have the Android version finally come out. I know they've been working on the Android version. There is an iPhone version that you can download an app, an EveryDollar app for the iPhone, for the iOS system. I'm just waiting for that for the Android. I would also like to have the ability to, at the end of the year, see the total percentage and total money spent for a particular category. Anyone getting into budgeting and looking for an affordable or free piece of software should definitely check out the EveryDollar software.